Hi guys, good morning to you all. How are you? We're working on the class coming up here, so it's a little crazy around here. Thanks, you. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh. Well, I hope this morning finds you all better than yesterday, and living in the now as much as possible, and in working yourself out of trouble and getting yourself well. I having the great opportunity of meeting a lot of you on Skype and over the phone and in person, and it just confirms my suspicion that you are beautiful souls out there with great hearts and suffering trying to get yourselves well. And I really appreciate that. I think on the first part of this video, I need to address a couple of things, of course, and I want to go back to our tremendous YouTube site that those great beings put together to further this cause. I want to give you my heartfelt thank you, and you guys are definitely the practitioners of the world. Jennifer was telling me, however, that there's been some antagonism, some people on there really giving other people hard times and things, and you know what's funny with those that do that, and if you're one of those that are out there just trying to throw monkey wrenches or be antagonistic, remember karma, because this is going to come back on you and you're going to have to eat it. You know, and when you're dealing with spiritual beings like on this channel, the karma is swifter and harder. I can just tell you. Not as an egotistical statement, but I can just tell you I've been there and experienced the whiplash of some of that, and you just don't want to go there. Just if you're not happy with the way we do things and you don't believe what we do and you don't like it, well then please trot on down the road and go somewhere else till you're ready to get to this level of understanding. It doesn't hurt our feelings. I'm trying to create a very educational, healing, and loving site so we can bond together. Those that are trying to disrupt all that are channels for the negative forces always. There's no question to have questions and to say, I don't believe what you're saying and things. I'm okay with that. I don't really care. Because this is just my experiences in 40 years of working with people and what we're seeing. And you got to remember, we've been suppressed for a lot of years by the powers that be, particularly the American Medical Association, and they're still out trying to sue people. You know, and their karma's coming back, and it's going to be a real hard one on them because they've gone beyond what you really should have gone beyond in terms of allowing all life to have their space. So for those that are creating that antagonism, please settle down, go somewhere else. We don't care. But that YouTube site is an incredible site. People are just trying to understand and get well. And you know, even all of you, we're all working from different levels of perspectives. Some of you are just getting your feet wet at this level. Some of you have been raw and trying to dig deeper. And so we're all working together with our heads together as buddies to work this out, because we have serious genetic problems right now and very serious lymphatic problems, and a lot of you are discovering what we're talking about is true right on. Talked to Sweden last night, young man finding out, you know, the truth of it all, and he's in research with microorganisms and other things, and he's just finding out the other side of this. And that's important that we understand that, because I think what's important is experiences, not theories. Experiences. What works? What do we see in clinical practice, where when a client comes in with these problems, what do we see as the end result? And that's the key. How we get to the end result, of course, in our area is called detoxification, because our concept of what causes all the problems in man lies in chemistry and physics. And of course you can dig into the etheric and the spiritual side of this. And there's a lot of people that are so constipated, they're angry or upset, or, you know, they're opinionated. And this is the problem with the human consciousness. You don't see it with the animals so much. There are, you know, as the animals go, you'll start to see the ego develop in different animals and different levels as you get closer, or I don't know how to say that, but you'll see more of the id being developed, and then you'll see those little attitudes like you see in your dogs and things like this, you know. But I think that at this level, this is a very low level of creation. The higher you get into the spiritual heavens, the less you see this, because if you look at a pendulum that's hanging down, that's swinging, we're down at the lower swing of the pendulum. It's why you see so much negative people out there. They thrive on negativity. They thrive on sucking energy out of people. Some of them are walk-ins. Some of them, I know some people don't want to hear these things, but let me tell you, you can be used by others, obviously, in ways you don't even know. You see that physically a lot, but some of you don't realize this also happens in other areas of life that you have no awareness of, because your consciousness is fixated on material objects, and in the material world, you don't know when some being sits with you and starts influencing your ability to be yourself. And so we see this where those that have passed hang around hooked to some people that are still here trying to keep with the experiences. You'll see that. Very subtle and hard for those, some people to understand when they have different entities that are following them around or attaching themselves so they can enjoy the physical experience without having a physical body. And I don't care whether you believe that or not, ask many psychics and you'll see that this thing exists. And I've seen it, a lot of people have seen it. And I'm just saying that be strong in yourself, know yourself, try not to be antagonistic, use love, respect, humility. These are great aspects. We're here to change this world, not to sit there and do what everybody else is doing and argue amongst each other. We have to put things in their proper places. And if you're working at a lower level, then either stay there or develop your ability to work at higher levels. This is ever-increasing, ever-expansing awareness and an awakening process of not only who you are, but the interaction you have with all of life. Because when you're working with someone else, you're working with yourself. You actually cannot work outside of yourself. You might see that being separate, and you might be pounding people like those that are antagonistic on YouTube, but you're really beating yourself up. You're the ones not being full of joy. You're the ones suffering, and that's your karma unconsciously. So just open your hearts and be happy, and if you don't like the sites, okay, we don't care. This site's for those that are serious-minded, those that want to be practitioners, those that want to be spiritual beings and change the world around them and themselves, even though this is all about you. Always, 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 always. The world that changes around you changes because you change. So this is all about yourself and your awareness of who you really are and how you seek to get those bodies you're using healthy so your experiences in creation are more fun, more exciting, more nirvanic, more ecstasy, more joy. If I plucked you out of off this planet and put you in a spiritual city that was lined with jewel fences and the flowers and plants were emanating like pulsating jewels of light, you would see. It would change you like that. And I think that's worthy of you working for, to have these conscious experiences. Some of you already feel it and know it inside. And keep developing your ability to be consciously aware in any given moment. And that means control of the mind. Those of you that don't have control of the mind, this is what the mind's doing to you. It's allowing you to slip in and be disruptive to those that want to get and grow beyond that. So I suggest, for everybody's happiness that keep it, is it kind? Is it true? And is it necessary? Those are the three criteria I kind of keep in the back of my mind when I'm talking to others. Is what I'm about to say kind? Is it true, mostly? And is it really necessary? And you'll see that sometimes I have to come here and do some videos that I think that are necessary. I try to make it as kind as I can, and definitely it's true. Because why waste your time with things that are theories and things that are half-truths? We've done too much of that already, and it's led us down these roads of control by others who are more intellectual and have set themselves up as power freaks. And this is why people that are antagonistic to others and that get down on others and argue so much, they're power freaks. They don't realize that their narcissistic view, they're me, me, me. And that me has got to fade away and become the big me. The little me becomes the big me, and the big me sees that all life is one. And so when you're looking at a plant or a flower or a beautiful animal or a beautiful person, you're looking at yourself. You're looking at a part of all life. And I think it's vital to see that and to work with some higher levels of thinking. But you guys on YouTube, you are a blessing to this planet. You keep it up. You keep working with others. Those that are antagonistic, blow them off. We don't need that sort of thing. We're here to bring the power. And if someone shakes you off your center, then get yourself right back and use that as a lesson. That the people shake me off of my center still, and I still try to bring myself back as quick as I can. So I keep trying not to allow that to happen. There are times where it's going to happen, and those are not the nicest of times. But there are times that's just, you cannot always be positive and perfect. There are those that are going to rattle your cage, and they love rattling your cage. Keep that in mind. People feed off of that. You got those sharks out there that feed on antagonism and hurting others and things like this, and those are the real karma makers for themselves. And all I have to say, if you knew that you have to pay for everything you create, and that includes the good, the bad, and the ugly, you would be very cautious of what you create. Let me tell you, because no one suffers more than yourself. All right. So YouTubers, you go, keep going. I love you guys, every one of you. You are rocking and rolling. The beauty of having groups around the world, we are going to show these souls on this planet that they need to lift their heads up out of the sand, because everyone's suffering, and including the power freaks. All right. With that said, I was going over a case here with Kim. And I wanted to, Kim, I've got your protocol ready for you, but I wanted to, there's a couple of comments you said here, and I really wanted to address this because I thought it was be good information for everybody. This poor soul has suffered, of course. They've done the same thing, have given her all kinds of chemical medications for different issues that she's had. And she's been on antibiotics for a lifetime, and this is just the insanity of what's going on. This is what you guys don't, I think you probably do, but the importance of what we're doing here for man in every way is important, and a lot of you are doing it. We're talking about the raw bros out there and stuff. All of you guys that are teaching others how to be raw and how to grow spiritually, you're part of a huge effort, and there's so many spiritual beings in physical bodies and out of physical bodies that are here now working with everyone at all levels, even in your subtle consciousness where you're unaware of. And so, just becoming more aware, you'll start seeing more spiritual beings working with you. If not, you'll see these little things happening to you. They go, oh, there must be someone, a guardian angel on my shoulder. And right now, there's a lot going on here because the negative forces are out of balance. And we need to bring that positive in and bring a balance, even though it's still creation. To do that, though, one has to pull themselves outside of creation and realize that this is just the movies, the experiences for the Supreme One. Now, to do that, though, one has to pull themselves outside of creation and realize that this is just the movies, the experiences for the Supreme One. Now, let me see here. I've never got a cold because of all the antibiotics. She had a lot of sinus infections and bronchitis. Well, the problem is that the more you suppress, each time it gets deeper and harder, and you think, well, I just can't let this go. I got to take care of it. This is those that have the most difficult time in healing crisis, are those that actually suppress their symptoms the longest, because it's like taking a steroid. When you come off a steroid too quick, everything explodes. Your skin starts oozing. Some people split open all over the place because medical doctors love to hold all these acids and everything in you. And so because of their ignorance, we have serious friggin' lymphatic problems. And this poor soul has had antibiotic use, suppressive use of the lymph system. And so, yeah, so when you have a sinus infection now or a healing crisis, could be a little harder on you. And it's only because you've been suppressing, honey, all these years, that not knowing better, and that's why we're here, the Knowing Brigade. You know, the YouTubers, the Facebook people, those that are really dealing, and I was talking about Facebook if I said YouTube. The Facebook is where the problems are, where the people are antagonistic here. So the YouTube, you know, it's just human nature. It's just how the mind is out of control here. The ego's out of control, and some people are so weak they just pull themselves, and they're recluses. So there's all levels of this stuff, and I think that we all have to realize that we're all here to help each other, and if we embrace each other instead of fight each other, we'll create a bond like you've never seen. We'll make this world higher than it's ever been spiritually, and I think that's a worthy cause. Outside of that, what else you doing around planet Earth? Everything for yourself? I mean, that's you know, part of it. Now, if you hadn't had a cold, well, you know, unfortunately, you haven't given enough time for bacteria to seat themselves to help you. Let me see here. Mostly because my body can't assimilate. Now, you made this wrong. You haven't had a cold mostly because my body can't assimilate the nutrients it needs to heal. No, not really. You know what? That body, when you look at this, your body needs very little nutrients. In some circles, all your body needs is energy. That's why you hear the breatharian levels, you see the high monofrugivorish levels, why you see some of these things, because in actuality, there's a lot of thought in a lot of areas of what really needs to happen. Remember, when the cell's fertilized, it has no hook to anything. So it has no external energy source. So how does the cell promote that? And then travel, and then starts to get hooked up, and then more physical energy fed into it. But let me tell you, you can really tear this apart and look at some of these higher levels, and some of the concepts of fasting in allopathy is that you can't do that. The body will, digestive enzymes, proteolytic enzymes will eat itself up. That sort of thing, you know. You just, people that die of fasting actually die of auto-intoxication, actually, and put themselves into those states, you know, because I know a lot of people that have extended amount of life. Look at this YouTuber that's, I don't know where she's at now, but she's probably 230 days on a juice fast if she hasn't already broken it. I think that's incredible. Babe and Earl really kicking butt there. And so, but anyway, it's not about nutrients that you can't detox. This is about the suppression that you've been on with all the antibiotics and antivirals. And that's really suppressed your body's ability to heal itself. And that's why you have such a culturing medium, shall I say, for the things that you wrote me about. And you're just, you can't get rid of them because you're not working on the system that gets rid of them, dear one. So now you're going to focus yourself in the right way, and you're going to get yourself well, because you've been suffering too many years here, 25 years with this one problem that would be, you know, some people have a real serious problem with that, just from an emotional viewpoint. So you've done real well with that. But I understand the whole thing. It isn't about nutrition at all. This is about lymph and the body's ability to heal itself. And medical doctors have done nothing but suppress that. They're changing. Let me say the positive side of that. They're changing. A lot of medical doctors are learning to let things go. I have a friend who's a medical doctor. He's stuck on high protein, and recently had sent me a leukemia case because when he put her on protein, her leukemia skyrocketed. Yeah, and I warned him about high protein in the past. This is the problem we face. You must get off of that protein concept. It is wrong concepts. We're carbon prints. Let me see. I recently had a colonic. The therapist told me the liver was toxic. Yeah, you want to clean your liver out because you've had a lot of chemical medications. Now, let me see. Thank you, Green Helper 7. Love your comment there about the world and everything. It's beautiful. Thank you, Pick 4 guy. Oh, what a beautiful horse. Wow. Wow, that is a beautiful horse. I'd like to pat and kiss that little nose. You know, if you never befriended a horse, man, I tell you what, nothing like horses. They're so sweet. I mean, it's smart as a whip. One of our horses could actually open up the gate. He let himself outside in the front yard to feed, and then he could open the doorknob and go into the house. I mean, he would, you know, get the door. I mean, it's amazing about these animals. You could put a baby underneath him, and he would just stand there. He's just so intelligent. I just love animals and plants and most people. You are awesome. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Dream Catcher. What's that? That's a beautiful dream catcher. Look at that. Wow. That's pretty cool. So you rock too, man. All you guys that are sweet, beautiful souls rock, in my opinion. And I am proud to be part of this movement to help you. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. We're awakening to our divinity and what we need to do here. And I mean, it's just a drama, but some movies are better than others, and I think we should make the movies a little better. And those souls that need to leave and depart in this lifetime, this another thing I haven't talked to you much about is there are some of you that are ready to leave this cycle of birth, life, and death. And you want to grow spiritually now. And someone made this comment, I thought it was a real interesting comment, because it's so very true. And I haven't had a chance to talk a lot about that on the spiritual side. And that, of course, is this level offers a lot of experiences. This is such a very inert area that you can use it to really tweak yourself and to develop your awakening much quicker. But at the same time, this level can lose you quite well. And so this will give you an opportunity. If you can control your consciousness at this level, when you leave your physical body, you're going to go to some very high heavens. A lot of people don't realize that you're making your future. A lot of people just are like leaves in the wind, thinking God will come do this and God will come do that and all this stuff, and that's not how it is. Why are you here in the first place? Just to be a passive leaf in the wind? Why are you here? You know, God's going to do it for me? No. God works through you as the bodies, and of course your consciousness, you're part of the all. So it's just understanding your divinity and accepting that, because religions across the world are more suppressive than they are expansive. You look at most religions, they're controlling their people's attitudes and viewpoints. Look at the hate over in the Middle East for people around the world, and there's no real basis for that at all. And then, of course, a lot of Americans are so narcissistic, they think they're the coolest people on the planet, and there's that negative side. So we all have our areas that we have to let go and just realize that we're all one. The Syrian people are just as beautiful as the Iranian people, is just as beautiful as the Chinese people, just as beautiful as the Russian people, and our governments are the problems, and sometimes our religious leaders are the problems. They become very narcissistic, and so, you know, when a religion says that another thing is bad and we're good, that's not a viable path to God, because no one's bad here. You know, this is just experiences. Religions really set up moral codes and try to corral their people, but even the ministers and the priests have to grow here on this planet and have to start realizing your job is to connect people to God, and first you must connect yourself. And that's real important, is that everyone that is ahead of a spiritual teaching start connecting themselves with God, and not telling other people that they can't. I mean, this is time that we all realize we're all divine. No matter where you live and who you are, all the plants are divine, all the animals are divine, and that we're all here experiencing in a very inert, heavy mattered level of creation. and that we have aspects to ourselves that are so much greater, and that when we connect into those higher levels, then we all can embrace each other. How much fun would it be if we go over to Iran and everybody hugs each other and is happy? How about if we all go to Russia and everybody hugs themselves and are happy and respects each other? And the same thing with Japan and China and everywhere else. And everybody enjoys the uniqueness of that country and the uniqueness of that culture. You know, instead of saying your culture is bad, experiencing the positive. Instead of blowing up our other people's women and children, embracing them. You know, this is what we have to do. And so those of you on the YouTube and the Facebook, you're actually channels for God here in a far greater way than maybe you realize. So by working in the now and giving love and healing and respect and humility, you're bringing the power of God in here like a freight train. And when we do it by the multitudes, we're going to make a huge impact. So I'd love to see more of this love go around here, but divine love. And divine love doesn't have conditions to it. I don't love you because you love me back, or I don't love you because you're beautiful, and I don't love you because of this or that. I love you because you're you, because you're part of the God. I love you because I see God in you. And that's what we need to do there, I think. But that's up to each and every one of you guys, and I do respect and love all of you for your growth and commitment to being a God person and a conscious God person, man or woman. Hey, Dr. Morris, just wanted to say that you're looking real good. Oh, thank you, thank you. Working on it, working on it, working on it. Got to buff up for the class. Well, geez, I mean, I think a lot of you are learning the difficulties in sustaining raw foods. We've had this site for 1 year. Trying to be a raw foodist for me for beyond 15 years became somewhat difficult for a lot of reasons. So, but you know, I think if a person gets gets their health where they need it to be, and they go down to 70 or 80, 20 or 30, that's the best you're going to see a lot of people do. And you shouldn't be antagonistic to those that can't do all raw, because it's okay. You're not here to judge that. If you do all raw, then you'll be a pillar of light. But even if you, I know a lot of raw foodists that sneak in the back room a little bit. I don't judge that. I remember one class, and there was this guy from Fort Myers that actually involved in a health food store and health food restaurant, and I saw an organic oatmeal raisin cookie in a salad restaurant, and a lot of the class people were there, and I thought, I'm going to do this. And I went and I got this cookie and I started eating on it. It freaked this guy out that he wanted to leave the seminar. And a lot of the class people were there, and I thought, I'm going to do this. And I went and I got this cookie and I started eating on it. It freaked this guy out that he wanted to leave the seminar. And I thought, you know, this is going to come back and bite his butt big time, because he's going to end up, and someone's going to come down on him because he's going to end up doing something similar. And I wanted to show people balance, you know, because there is a point where balance is really key. And as a healer, you must accept the fact that they're going to have a lot of clients that can't do it all the way they can. And what are you going to do, slap them upside the face? No, you're going to be loving and help them through this journey, knowing that you have a hard time too. Because when you get too strict and too narcissistic, God's going to come around and kick butt. I'm telling you, getting yourself out of balance is a butt kicker. And I've been kicked many, many, many times in both levels, so I can speak from experience here that we just have to respect, love, have humility, and give due respect, and understand, give room to breathe for people. There's nothing perfect around here. You know, God is perfect, and yet it's not. I mean, you have the duality of this. You know, when one thinks God is loving and beautiful, take a look around. There's the other side of that coin. So, just do what you can. I love you all. I'm here to support you all, no question. And I'm here to walk right with you guys, and we're going down this road. Keep it up. Keep healing all your families, all your friends, all those people that will come heal, and let's just heal everybody up. Let's get the world so healthy that there's a big smiley face on everybody. Because your job is to put a smiley face on every cell in your body. And if you put a smiley face on 100 trillion cells, you got a smiley face on this one big cell. And then the big universe has a big smile on its face. And then God's got a big smile on its face. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to have to close up here. I didn't know I would go down this way. Sometimes I just let that. Lisa Lopez, love you, dear one. Love you, dear. Forget it. It's all done. Love you. Same with all of you guys. Love you. You know what? Don't hold on nothing. Things come up. Sometimes people make you an instrument for things and you get trapped and you don't realize it. Don't worry about it. Let's go on. You know, that was yesterday. Today's today. New fresh air. Beautiful sky. Although a little rainy around here. So do love you. Do love you all. Don't worry about it. You know. You're great. And Lisa Lopez, you're a sweet soul. So just good experience for all of us. We just keep going. Don't even worry about it. You know, some people just get trapped in their narcissism, and then they take off sometimes. Or some ladies PMS sometimes and say things they don't really mean sometimes. But sometimes things happen here you don't get to see. And people call in, and the way they handle us and the way they deal with us sometimes is pretty not right. Because we're just a bunch of souls trying to help everyone else be well. Yeah, I think you get a good understanding. We're not here to rip you off. We're not here to hurt you. We're only here to help in every single way and develop more of us. We're here to create a bond that'll change this world and all the other worlds, because the ripple is through all God worlds, not just physical, because changing the physical means changing the mental and emotional worlds with it. You don't just change this world, you're changing all the heavens. Like throwing a big rock in the ocean, the ripple goes all the way around the world. Well, this goes all the way through all the heavens, because you're attached to all the heavens, believe it or not. You're not just here. You can't be here without traveling down through and taking on bodies to get here. This is too mundane for you as a soul to handle this level. And if you understand how creation's put together, and this shouldn't offend any religious person, because religions, we all need to understand how God put creation together. And it'll help us to survive better. And that's the gig. And a lot of spiritual giants have paved the way, from Jesus to Buddha to the Eck-masters to the Singh family and just all the Hindu religion. Everybody has played their role. I think it's time that we do like we did in health. We sit back and we take all the things and all the experiences of all the spiritual people and the health people, and we start sifting through and go, oh, yeah, that. And that's what we've done. We've mapped out these things to help people or souls to awaken to this, and it just makes the journey more fun, and it gives you more freedom and more of a smiley face and less seriousness about things that don't matter. Things just don't matter, other than yourself and your happiness and your joy and your ecstasy. Detoxing, this is SDEREK88. Detoxing in this society is going against the current, and it's not easy at times. Exactly. This is exactly. Getting well is going against the current of the negative forces. The negative forces of the social consciousness will chastise you, and you'll see it in your own family. And they'll get down on your case. They don't realize they're being a channel for this negative force. But that's how the negative forces keep creation in. The negative forces aren't bad. There's no bad and good to anything. But it's all about experiences and directions. And so it's a sort of how you balance duality. Sometimes duality is like a teeter-totter. One side gets too much. In some cases, you can get too positive and gets you out of balance. And you get too negative and gets out of balance. That middle path, Buddha, Jesus, most of them mentioned the middle way. That is not being for or against anything. That's where you find the answers. So those that are too out of balance, start contemplating and meditating. Bring yourself into yourself again. And don't control your mind, control your emotions. Don't be a pawn on a big chess game, because that's what a lot of you are. Those that are creating you're just being a pawn, and you don't realize you're being controlled. And you're saying things that really in your heart, I know you really don't want to. You're just not familiar with your heart. So that's another thing. We need to get familiar with our heart. You know, so start hugging someone when you meet them. Years ago, a friend of mine, we were both fruitarians together. You know, everybody from where I come from shakes hands. And a nice, good, firm handshake, that's an old farmer way. My dad always said, a nice, firm handshake, don't give them a wet noodle. And so, you know, we all grew up in that way. So this friend of mine, we decided we're just going to start hugging everybody we met. Well, that freaked out a lot of people back in the 60s and 70s. You just didn't get hugged back then. There was so much antagonism. The government was way out of balance. Vietnam was unreal. I have not been able to be perfect, and that's okay. Here's a good example. That's okay. I don't chastise you. I don't care. I'm not perfect, and those that of you are, great. I was at one time. If you could say perfect, what's perfect? Right? I mean, we're all here just having experiences, and if we don't label each other, we'll be good. You know, we're just all loving spiritual beings having a very physical, mundane experience. Let's see, to craving, indulging in some of the worst things. Well, you know, we have cravings from fungus, which gives us the sugars and the pastas and all that. And, you know, some people have bigger parasites that do bring you back to the dead animal stuff. And, you know, no judgment. We just know what we need to do to get well. And in that process of getting well, you will readapt new thought patterns and create new ways of how you look at things, and you'll be able to let those all things let go. Don't beat yourself up. If someone is a purist around you beating on you, just realize God's going to come whoop some butt, and they're going to have a little bit of experiences where they're going to crash and burn, and that's the problem. And I think Dan can tell you about that. I will not stop. I get up and keep going. God's herbs have made all the... Oh, thanks. Isn't that neat? Those herbs are incredible. I'm telling you, that's why I call them God's herbs. People didn't want me to do that. It's like, nope, these are God's herbs. You know, let's give due respect who created the botanicals, which is our pharmacy. Our pharmacy is the botanical world, and obviously the Supreme Being, or the Creator, if you will, put them there for us, and I love that. And, you know, this is the thing. We should look at it as an Easter egg hunt, right? That's better, an Easter egg hunt. It's our job to seek out and find that which is hidden. I will not stop. Let me see. I love all the... Oh, thanks a lot, man. Oh, Dirk, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that so much, my friend. Unfortunately, I've got to run. Let me see here. Yeah. Anyway, if I don't tear away, they're going to come in and pull me away. Thank you so much. And all of you, have fun today. And be aware. And try to be observant today instead of thinking today. And give someone a hug. And help someone get well. I think that's a blessing. Because when you're happy and secure with yourself, don't let anything shake you from that. When you're happy and secure with yourself, nothing can take you off of that. And then you can give love. And when you see someone antagonistic, just give them more love. And say, you know, because if we respond with love, then after a while it'll break them down. And that's really what we all need to do. And sometimes sometimes I get bent, let me tell you. But I always try to bring them back to love and respect and humility. Love you all, and you have a fun day.